Hello everybody, hope you guys are enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at your winter storm Nash forecast, and this is this winter storm that we've been talking about for the past couple of days over parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, northernmost Georgia, and into southern parts of Virginia, where you are experiencing some winter weather alerts already, and this has recently been named Winter Storm Nash, and we're going to be going over the model forecast as well as my personal forecast in this video, so make sure you are staying tuned all the way until the end so that you do get my take on what I think is going to happen with Winter Storm Nash. So we're going to start off here with the National Weather Service. We have winter weather alerts already posted for parts of northern South Carolina, northern Georgia, all of North Carolina, and southern Virginia. We even have winter storm warnings in those pinks over parts of southeast Virginia as well as parts of northeast North Carolina there. And we also have some flood watches to the south of there where you are going to be on the rainy side over parts of central Georgia, central Alabama, and then you will also see quite a bit of rain as you get into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina. We also have freeze watches in effect for parts of the northeastern parts of Florida and southeastern parts of Georgia there. But for the rest of the country, it's pretty much very quiet. You have this overabundance of cold air that's dipping down, and you actually have this system that's moving through. You have this trough that's moving through kind of on this axis, and that's also bringing some cold air down to the Carolinas where you are going to actually see some snow, and most of your snow is actually going to come later tonight and into the early morning time of tomorrow. So it's going to come overnight for many of you, so you will actually see a little bit more accumulation than you would if it was maybe in the middle of the day where you would be fighting that sun angle. So you don't have to worry about any sun angle here, so you should actually get a good 5-6 inches of accumulation in some of those higher amount spots. So here's the surface analysis map as of right now, and you see we have a low pressure system sat over the westernmost part of Florida, almost there into Alabama. You have this draping warm front here that's moving through northern Florida, and then you have another surface low pressure system that's formed off of southeast Georgia, and that's really going to be your coastal low pressure that really takes over, and that's going to move to the north and east with this system. So let's look at what the European model is projecting. Now, yesterday it had a much more robust system with this, and I still think it's going to be a little bit more on the robust side, more on the side of 4 or 5 inches, but the European has really dialed down on the amount of cold air that is there and available, but I think it's still going to be kind of like what it was showing yesterday, and I really agreed with what it was showing yesterday. Yesterday it was showing a more robust system over parts of North Carolina, showing 3 to 6 inch amounts over this area of North Carolina and South Carolina, as well as some scattered 3 to 6 inch amounts over the Appalachians and the higher elevations of North Carolina in the western portion of North Carolina there, and I think that is still going to play out. Now, I'll show you what the European is showing and then also what the NAM 12KM is showing. The European model is keeping all this cold air restricted to the north, so you're not going to see as much cold air. This will be by later tonight, and now you're starting to see snow break out over North Carolina and into Virginia. Now, you still have some pretty good, decent snowfall, but you also have a lot of mixing with the European model. Now, as we get into Friday morning, it's pretty much all said and done, and you just see some leftover snow and rain showers there as you get on continuing with the day on Friday. So here's what the European model is showing, and you see it really has this gap of pretty much no snowfall in the middle of North Carolina, but then as you get into the eastern and western portions here, you are experiencing quite a bit of snowfall according to the European. So I still agree with the European on the placement of this. I think it's just going to be up to by an inch or two in all of these locations for the most part, and I think maybe the north central part of North Carolina could see probably 3 or 4 inches of snowfall, and you'll definitely get to see that in my snowfall forecast at the end of the video, so make sure you are staying tuned all the way until the end. So here's what the NAM 12KM model is showing. Now, NAM 12KM model has been more robust this entire time, but I think it's really dialed down on what's going to happen, and I think it's actually come to a pretty good conclusion, but I still do think there's a couple things that I want to tweak within NAM 12KM model. Now, it shows northern parts of North Carolina, southern parts of Virginia seeing quite a bit of snow by later on Thursday, Friday morning. It would be the time frame right now, and then southeast Virginia and into eastern North Carolina seeing that rain and snow, and as we continue this, it really sticks around for a little bit longer than what the European model was showing, but still, almost all of it is up as out by the time you're waking up on Friday morning. Now, here's your total snowfall with the NAM 12 cam model, and I'm thinking that it's going to be a little bit more. Again, most of these models are showing a little bit of a gap in the middle of North Carolina. I think you will see lower snowfall totals as you get into western North Carolina, not at the mountains quite yet, but as you get right around this area, I do think you're going to see a gap in the snowfall totals where it's only going to be about an inch, 2 inches, maybe 3 inches on the higher side. But I still do think you're going to see some snowfall, and that's where I really disagree with the NAM 12 cam and the European model here. Now, here's what the National Weather Service is showing as far as its snowfall forecast here. Now, the National Weather Service is showing a good dusting or so, and I really do agree with the National Weather Service here on this, and it's showing about 2 or 3 inches for the Appalachians, and you already saw about 3 inches through this morning. You also see a good 3 to 6 inches for this area, and definitely that will be reflected on my snowfall map. That really looks to be the bullseye out of all these areas, and then really the hit or miss area is going to be in the valleys east of the Appalachian Mountains as you get near the Greensboro, Charlotte area, and just west of Raleigh, where I think you are going to be into that 1 to 2 inch area. And really, it's going to be tapering off as you get west of this bullseye area, where I really think you're going to get tapered off on how much snowfall you do actually receive out of this system. So, here's what the Weather Prediction Center is putting, and this is your probabilities of seeing over 4 inches of accumulating snowfall. And you see, you have anywhere in those brown areas, that's a 1% to 5% chance, 5 to 10% chance in the yellow, and in those greens are anywhere from 10 to 40% chance. The darker the green, the higher the chance, and then 40 to 50% chance in that dark blue. And if you got into the light blues, that would be anywhere from 50 to 80% chance of seeing over 4 inches of snowfall. And you see, over that northeastern part of North Carolina is where you really have that bullseye, where you have maybe over 50% chance of seeing over 4 inches of snowfall out of this event within the next 72 hours. And over 8 inches is really far-fetched, 1 to 5% chance, but even the fact that the chance is there out of a system like this really shows you the type of energy and how much energy you really have with this event. And really, you are going to be able to put out a quick 4, 5, 6, 7 inches, potentially even 8 inches of snowfall here. And then we'll go to 2 inches, and you see over a much wider area, but the amounts are of course higher. You have about 60 to 70% chance within this area. So really, the bullseye seems to be eastern and northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia, where really you have the best chance of meeting up with that cold air while you still have that moisture with you. So you will be able to put down quite a bit of snowfall here. Now, let's look at what I'm showing as far as snowfall. Let's start off with your storm track, and this is going to be a storm that's going to be tracking from today into tomorrow, and then really by midday on tomorrow, it should be pretty much all said and done with. Now, your low pressure system is going to be right now over northwesternmost parts of Florida, and it's going to be tracking pretty much to the east, a little bit to the northeast there, over parts of Florida and getting into southern Georgia, and then it's going to go off the sea and kind of curve up a little bit before moving straight east out to sea. Now, here's your mountain snow region over parts of western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, and westernmost Virginia, where I am expecting a little bit of mountain snow, 2-3 inches, but of course it's really going to change depending on your elevation. And of course, you guys know if you do live in those areas, it's definitely going to change a lot depending on what elevation you're at. So definitely check out your local National Weather Service. Now, I think this map would give you a pretty good indication. Generally, a 2, 3, 4 inch accumulation out of this event, so nothing that's too crazy. Generally around 2 or 3 inches of snowfall. Now back to the forecast here. Under an inch of snowfall here over parts of southern parts of Virginia and into all of North Carolina, and even a little bit there of northern South Carolina, where I am expecting under an inch of snowfall. So basically any snowfall accumulation out of this event. Now, 1 to 3 inches here over parts of southern and southeastern parts of Virginia and pretty much the entire part of eastern North Carolina, except for the southeastern portion there, where I am expecting 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, and now 3 to 6 inches even there, really where a lot of those areas were in the bullseye over southeasternmost Virginia and into northeastern North Carolina, where I am expecting 3 to 6 inches of snowfall, and definitely can't rule it out that you see 5, 6, 7, potentially even 8 inches, even though I think 7, 8 inches is a little bit far-fetched. I'm leaning more around 5, 6 inches at the maximum, but potentially if there's a lot of upside with this system, so you could definitely get a little bit more out of this system than is expected. And if this system were to really overestimate or really outperform, I think you could definitely squeeze out 7, 8, 9 inches out of this system. You have the right ingredients, it's just you need them all to play out. So if they all play out, you could get 6, 7, 8, 9 inches, like I said. Now, under an inch of rainfall here over pretty much anywhere to the south of this snowfall area, seeing under an inch of rainfall here, and then 1 to 2 inches of rainfall through this thin corridor that moves through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and through South Carolina there, and really that's just going to be because you are traveling along where that storm path is, and really that's where you see the most amount of energy, and that's where you're able to put down the most amount of precipitation with these types of events. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turn on notifications. That was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.